Alright, how's it going, everyone who's live in the chat right now? It's good to see some of you back in here, some familiar faces. Real quick, let me just start this. Okay. Yeah, so before I start at all, I just want to preface that this live stream is only going to last as long as my internet holds up. I've been having some problems with it recently. I'm not entirely sure why. So I'm hoping that it holds up at least long enough that I can have somewhat of a live stream. I did have to reduce the quality a little bit. Normally I would stream at 1440p at a higher bit rate, but I had to lower it to 1080p at a lower bit rate, just so it wouldn't drop too much. So the quality might not be as good as the past live streams, but I'm hoping that it's okay. But yeah, if for some reason it just keeps going out too low and it's not even worth doing a live stream, I'll probably just record a YouTube video in place of this and then upload it, hopefully at the beginning of this upcoming week. Because yeah, I'm just really not sure how long this is gonna last with these internet problems. But yeah, so yeah, pretty much for anyone watching who isn't familiar on these live streams, I usually start at the beginning and walk through the things that have changed since the last update or video or live stream, whatever it was. And then I go through that, and then I kind of just start working on something. So that's sort of the plan today. It's been a long time since I've posted a video or an update on Planet Minecraft, so I have been posting some stuff in the Discord server recently, though. But excuse me, the main thing that I have been doing is replacing a lot of blocks with concrete. I finally installed a mod that gives me concrete stairs and slabs and a few other things as well. So I was able to replace a lot of stuff with concrete. So before, these trucks and these letters used to be the red wood. I forget what it's called. They used to be mangrove wood, but that was because I didn't have any stairs. If I wanted to make this out of concrete before, I would have not had the stairs or the slabs, and it would have looked really blocky. So having this mod allows me to make stuff look a lot better now. I mean, it might not be super noticeable if you don't remember how it used to look, but it just looks much brighter and more accurate. So I really like how this looked now. And then I have trucks in a lot of other areas too around. Have a bunch over here. Then I have some over here as well. I put these ones in a line like they're kind of exiting. I think this is kind of cool. So I still need to put some, and I still need to honestly do quite a bit of work to the back over here. I put all these buildings in, but it's kind of like empty. There's really not any roads or vehicles or some other stuff that I've been meaning to add. Just haven't gotten to it yet. Alright. So going in here, I don't think I've posted this anywhere but my Discord server quite a few months ago at this point. But I used some custom block entities to make these lamps look a little bit better. Before, I just used to use fences and then a full-size slab for the shade of the light itself. But I used some block entities to use the iron fence to make a skinnier looking pole with an angle, and then I used also axiom block entities to make a smaller slab so the lamp shade doesn't look so big. The only downside is block entities don't have any collision, so you can basically just walk right through these. But I don't intend people to do that anyway, so I don't think it'll be a problem. The last thing I need to do to these lamps is to get some custom images to replace these banners with the Wonka Worldwide logo. The chocolate room, nothing's really changed, I don't think, except I did replace all of the lime green concrete with wool. I used to be a strong believer in not using the wool for this, but I guess my tastes have changed. And I think it looks better having a little bit of a texture on it for the grass. So all of this was replaced with wool, and I do like it. Oh, I guess there are some things I've changed in here. So in addition to having concrete stairs and slabs, I also have concrete fence posts and walls. So all of these blocks are new with this mod. I also even have concrete fences, fence gates, pressure plates, and buttons, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so I was able to replace these candy canes that were originally the I guess the birch wood and mangrove fences with just red and white concrete, and I think that looks a lot better. Looks more like actual candy canes. I know some people have custom textures or mods where the candy canes just look like how they do in the movie, and I was considering going down that route, but that was a little bit too far in the like the realism direction, where like if I put those in like candy canes that looked exactly how they did in the movie, then everything else looks kind of silly if all the other stuff is blocky and the candy canes aren't. So that's why I'm probably just gonna keep these as fences. So I put those there, and then there's some other ones that are scattered around, so anything that used to be wood is now concrete. And then I guess the biggest thing is the boat, which used to be crimson planks and stairs. Once again, because I didn't have concrete stairs, I couldn't really just use concrete blocks, it would look too chunky. But now this is like a very close match to the color. Sorry about that. I think, yeah, my internet kind of dropped for a second. That's probably going to happen from time to time, unfortunately. Yeah, that's just going to be how it is. Things should be a little bit better now. It looks like it caught up, yeah. Alright, sorry about that. We're just going to have to deal with that for this stream. Unless it gets too bad, then I'm just going to call it. But yeah, the boat was replaced with concrete as well. I'm gonna give this just a minute to see if this is gonna get any better. Did I use the same fence for the candy cane room? No, I haven't got to that point yet, but eventually I will probably use those fence in there. Yeah, it's just really weird. I don't know why my internet's been doing that. It's been fine recently. I've even live streamed a time or two since I've moved, and I didn't have any problems, but yeah. But that's pretty much all that's changed in the chocolate room. Just new concrete. Nothing's really changed with the tunnel ride. I've considered coming back through here and smoothing all this out with slabs and stairs, but that would just be a tremendous amount of work, and I don't really think it would even look that much better. So it's just gonna stay how it is now with just blocks. It wasn't that bad, just paused for like 5 seconds. That's good. If that's all it is, and it only happens like every 10 minutes or so, I guess I can deal with that. I'm probably going to end up making a YouTube video anyway that's going over what I'm talking about. Okay, so down here is where a good few things have changed. The deep room. Well, I guess I can show this. For those aren't familiar, I've added a lot of other rooms to the factory that aren't seen in the movie. I'm up to like almost 60 now, maybe I am at 60. And I basically, the way I do it is, of all those additional rooms I build, I like show half of them, and then I keep the other half a secret, so it's more interesting when the world download finally comes out, to be surprised by a few things instead of just having to seen all of it already. So I do it 50-50. I show some and I don't show the others. So the deep room was redone, and I did show this briefly on my Discord server, but it's basically kind of like a challenge room with a fake sky that's intentionally supposed to look kind of fake. Like, if like, obviously in the depths of the factory there are no skies or anything, so I figured like maybe Wonka would paint a room with skies with clouds to give the illusion of a sky. But it's kind of a challenge room where there's these balloons with platforms and you have to get up to the top, and you're kind of like, well, there's no way to get there, but you can see with the hitbox here, it's an invisible platform, so you have to kind of like guess and carefully maneuver your way to the top, and at the top there'll be a reward of some kind that I'm not sure what it'll be yet. And then if you fall to the bottom, it'll teleport you back to the start, so you can try again. Because you can fall off, there isn't like a fence that prevents you from falling, so that's kind of the point of that. Got a new Wi-Fi adapter yesterday, better than your last. Yeah, it's really weird. The problem, like, I have a wired connection to my computer. The problem itself is with the service coming from the internet provider to my house. It's on the ISP side, which is the issue for some reason. So I might look into switching to a new provider. Right now I have Comcast. I might try to go with Verizon Fios because they have a fiber optic network, which is more consistent for uploads. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, this is the deep room. I'm pretty happy with it. I never showed the original version of this, but it was really bad and really pathetic. So this is a big improvement on what it used to be. Hey, I'm doing good. How are you doing? I would try to pronounce your name, but I don't want to mess it up, so I apologize, but I'm doing well. The other room, so basically all four of these rooms, the inventing room is this one over there. The other three have been the ones I've been working on, so these have all been redone. So the incompetent fools room was rebuilt, but I'm keeping this one a secret, going off of that rule of showing half and keeping the other half a secret. So this is rebuilt, but it's different, but I can't show it. I apologize. And then the other thing, which will be the actual focus, I guess, of this live stream is through here, and I don't have the sign on it yet, so I'll come back to this one later. But to get to the rest of the stuff that I've changed, I think we have to go up to the nut room, if I remember correctly. I'm just looking through here to see if there's anything else I've done. The juicing room has been rebuilt, and oh wait, this is the old juicing room. Disregard, that is not the juicing room. This needs to get deleted and rebuilt with something else. The juicing room is moved, and it looks much better than that. I have to kind of remind myself, okay, none of this has changed, so we're going to go up to the nut sorting room. In fact, I'm going to take a shortcut. Hey Dog Toy, I've been good, how are you doing? I have a teleportation book here that just makes it easier for me to get around. Okay, so the other big thing that is changing here with the new concrete stuff is in the nut room, and basically I was able to replace all of the birch wood fence and quartz blocks with actual concrete, just like it is in the movie, because everything is supposed to be either blue or white. And it really bothered me having like white here and then like birch fence and birch fence. It just didn't look good. So I think it looks a lot better having all this white. But yeah, so I guess there's not really much else to talk about with that. It's just the blocks have been replaced, and I think it looks better. One thing I did change is the like staircase down to the floor never used to be accurate. I used to just have ladders, and it looked kind of really awful. And then I also had the warped fence, because that was the closest blue fence in the vanilla game. So I ripped that out and I redid the stairs a little bit. So now instead of ladders, because there weren't ladders in the movie, it was like a really steep staircase. It comes down and then there's a little landing, like in the movie, and then it continues down. And then I used the concrete blue fence for the railings. It still looks a little clunky, but it's sort of the best I can do without doing a bunch of custom entity stuff, which it's a real pain in the butt, so I didn't want to do that. But I do think that looks better. Oh, and then one other thing I did is I added the extension of the garbage chute to all of these. I never used to have it. It used to just end at this circle sphere, and then it just kind of floated in the air. But it's been pointed out a few times that it's supposed to continue down, so I added that. And then eventually what will happen is for this nut room, you'll be able to fall down the chute like this. And then once you get to the bottom here, and you can't really go any lower, this is like underneath the world right here. Once you get to like roughly right here, it'll teleport you to the incinerator room. You can't just fall into it, unfortunately. I don't have room to build that down here, so it's gonna have to teleport you. But I think that'll be pretty cool. How's it going with building the chocolate production room? That room hasn't changed since I've initially made it. There's still like the last quarter of it needs to be built with the packaging area. And then we have some custom stuff we want to put in there. But otherwise that hasn't changed in probably close to a year at this point. I'm gonna use, what's that mod called? I can't think of that mod right now. But it lets you like do a bunch of custom stuff, and it has a bunch of like candy stuff in it. Man, why can't I think of that mod's name? Anyway, it'll allow us to do some pretty cool stuff over there. But yeah, so I guess we can go back to the area that I was talking about. Oh. Yeah, the conveyor belt, that's probably not going to be able to move just because it's so big and it's so long that even if you had a supercomputer, it would not be able to run the game at like a playable frame rate. You'd be running at like 5 frames per second because it would be so demanding on the system. So unfortunately the conveyor belts are never going to be able to move, so all we can really do are like make the other machines themselves move. All of these stairs and the stairwells I have throughout the build, the slabs used to be deep slate brick because again there were no concrete slabs to match, but those have all been replaced now with the dark gray concrete, so it just looks a lot better and more consistent. I guess I can go over to that chocolate production area real quick. I don't think that's in the book. I'm gonna have to go this way. No, I've never played the game, but I've watched videos on it, and I use the some of the rooms in that game as inspiration for some of the stuff I've built here. I just think those particular rooms I haven't shown on camera but I have used some stuff from that game in here. The biggest thing is some of the sound files, the audio from that game I actually am using to create some custom sound effects for the build. Once again, these candy canes have been replaced. And one other thing I've slowly been doing is going through and replacing all the doors with this design here, because the original one I had with the glass going in a circle wasn't actually correct. They should be like this. Once again, this is an area where I was able to replace the deep slate with concrete, so the floor looks a lot better. Something I've been trying to do recently, because I've gotten the motivation to start playing this again the past 2 weeks or so, is I used to just kind of fly around with my mods here, or teleport everywhere to speed it up. But I've been trying to take it a little bit slower and just like actually walking from place to place, because it lets me kind of like experience what I've built so much more, and I can actually like see the things I put so much time into instead of just flying past them. So it might be a little slow going here, but I think this is just sort of more enjoyable to walk through it like an actual person instead of just flying. So here's the chocolate production area, which I've called the Wonky Wonka bars room. So you can see right now it's still a big work in progress. The only thing that we have moving are the fans, and it's only the fans in the center here, and some of them are broken, as you can see. So right now these are done purely vanilla, no mods at all, just through data packs, very complex data packs. And it takes a lot of resources to run. So I have a fairly good computer, and I can only run at like 115 frames in this area, and normally I can hit the like over 300 frames. So for anyone who has a computer less than me, there'll be a lot of lag in here, which is why these other ones aren't even spinning. We tried to make all of these spin, and my frame rate went down to like 60, so it was just too much. But that mod that I'm talking about, that I really can't think of what it's called, has a much less intensive way to make this same thing happen. So we can have these spinning and it won't take a hit to the frame rate. So eventually all of these will spin. And then the other main thing that we'll be able to do is with this like thing that comes down and stamps the chocolate bars. We can make that come down and go up. And then maybe if this mod is flexible enough, we might be able to make the chocolate bars move, but the conveyor belt won't be able to move because it's just too big. But we might, oops, I went too far down. We might be able to make the chocolate bars themselves move. And same thing with the filling machine here. We could probably make it so the chocolate pouring like turns on and off. It would be kind of hard to see, but it would at least add a little bit. And then, to be quite honest, this whole area could use a little bit of a redo. I built this a long time ago. This is one of the first things I built after I finished the stuff in the movie, so a lot of stuff could be a little bit better. And then it stops at this part. I don't have anything past the parachutes, so there's no area where the bars get wrapped or anything like that yet. And if I remember correctly, there's like a wall. Yeah, so I kind of have like a dead end because like right on the other side of this wall is the nut room. So what I'm gonna have to do is, instead of having it continue off straight, it's gonna actually turn and go this way into this big area here that I have closed off right now, and that's where I'll have the rest of it. And then unfortunately I can't, and then this is another issue with the data pack. When you get far enough away, they despawn, and having that mod will prevent that from happening. And I can't go any higher than this because right up here is like the ground level. So I kind of put this in a bad spot. I'm kind of stuck in this area, but I think it's pretty cool. It'll look a lot cooler when it's actually finished. Because right now it just looks kind of like half built. One sec, I'm gonna look up actually what that mod is called because it's really bugging me. Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's just called the Create mod. That's what I've been talking about. It has a lot of cool stuff where you can like actually make chocolate, and it has chocolate machines. And it also allows you to animate blocks without tanking your frame rate. So I think that'll be pretty cool. Oops. Oh, and this also has a feature, so like when this room is actually finished, to stay true to the movie, the walkways are very narrow and there's no guardrails to prevent you from falling off. But in case you do fall off like this, it just teleports you back to the start, so you don't like soft lock your game. So that's pretty helpful. All the areas where you can like fall will have that feature. What else has changed? I think there might have been something down here that I've done. Maybe not. It's hard for me to remember. I've been working on this map now for close to 3 years. Okay, I don't think so. I think the last thing that I've changed is what we're gonna go to now. It's the new room I've been building on the tunnel ride. Once again, for anybody who's watching now, who wasn't earlier, if anyone's here, I've been having some internet problems, so that's why the quality of this stream is a little bit lower. It's just to help my internet out until I'm able to figure out what's going on with it. So if there's a part of the stream where it suddenly kind of buffers for a few seconds, I apologize, but there's nothing I can really do about that. So that'll probably just happen every once in a while for the rest of the stream. Alright. Going against what I just said, I am just gonna fly down to the new area. Cause, well, I've already gone through this today. Honestly, with the 2005 movie, what do you think are some horrific or kind of scary parts of the movie? I think I'm one of the few people in the world who, even when I was a little kid when the movie came out, I was 5 when it was released and I actually saw it in the theaters. I was never scared at any point during the movie. And I also never found anything creepy from it either. Although as an adult, I can appreciate some of the darker things now, and that's why I really like it. That's why I like it more than the 70s movie. But I don't really think there's anything that's scary. I think maybe just some of the art direction is kind of dark, and that's what I really like about it. It's just like literally dark, like a lack of color. I think sometimes the way that like Wonka stares at people when he knows something's about to happen is, I guess, kind of creepy. But yeah, like I know it's really popular fan theory, like, you know, everyone's like, oh, Willy Wonka's a serial killer, he kills all the kids. I like never really thought that or think that has any merit to it. I think it's just a children's story that's meant to like teach kids that you have to follow rules and be a respectable person or else bad things will happen to you. But yeah, I've never like found the movie creepy or scary. Okay, so this is the new room here. Uh, Actually, there's one more thing that I can show first, I guess. And I don't think I've shown this on a video, though I have put it in my Discord server, which I need to put a new invite out to. I had to turn invites off for a while because we were being spammed by some people. But I don't think I've shown this on YouTube, but the juicing room has been relocated down here to this, which I think is pretty cool. So like the blueberries, if you will, would get rolled up onto here, and these giant arms would come down and squeeze, and the juice would go through the grates out to these pipes and then into these storage tanks, which is what all these different colors are. So like, you know, blueberry juice, I don't know, I guess any kind of juice you can think of, like orange juice, maybe like lemon juice, that kind of stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm really happy with how this turned out. The inventing room part is a bit scary with the gum, and especially the music. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Some of the, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, the music in there. It kind of sounds like a horror movie music with like the really high pitched violins. Okay, so the new room is in through here. And I'm calling this room is actually on the list, so I'm not just making it up. It's called the Licorice taxi cabs. So I'm a big fan of how that sounds, so I was like, I have to build this. And I don't have the lighting complete in here yet, so I'm gonna turn this up a little bit, make it easier to see. But I just thought that name was so interesting, and I would assume, you know, if that was a real thing, it would be like actual, like candy taxi cabs made of licorice, but that's kind of really hard to represent in Minecraft because the blocks are so big. So what I decided to do was, instead of it being like little candy taxi cabs, it's a giant, like full-size taxi that I'm just pretending this is like candy, like licorice. So basically it's a production line with these little like robots, which I took inspiration from concept art, where it picks up the different pieces and then it like puts it like on the conveyor belt. So it takes the frame. I see my stream's having a rough time. Let me give it a second to catch up here. Okay, I think it's back. So yeah, it takes like a production line of making giant candy taxi cabs. So it takes the frame, then it comes over here and it puts on the tires. Then it starts putting on like the body. You can see it's putting like the trunk on. Then the windows. Then the roof with a little taxi sign that goes on top. Then it's putting on like the lights and the like skirting down here. And then once we get to down here, it starts wrapping it in a giant Wonka box to go to a store where you could presumably buy this, drive it, and then eat it. And then here's the finished one where there's like a window with the Wonka name on it. And then I need to extend this out basically to this wall. I'm gonna have just a bunch of these in a line going off. And I think that would look pretty cool. And then the room itself, it might be kind of obvious what the look of it is, but this is taking some pretty direct inspiration from the 1971 chocolate room with the brick walls, and then the patterned like black metal beams that support everything. So that's kind of what I did, and then I wanted to put a little bit of 2005 stuff in it, which is what these colorful lights are. Like, these are the kind of lights that are in the tunnel ride. It looks better when when the lighting is nice and moody like this. To have these giant windows or lights up top that will put the light down and has like some cool like stuff like that. Well, I'm glad it hasn't lagged for you. Sometimes it's on my end, it'll go into the red for a little bit, which just means like the bitrate is lowered a lot. So the quality will look kind of bad for a while, and then if it's really low, the stream will actually buffer for like 5 seconds. Is there anything that I'm excited to build? Yes. I'm excited because like things are finally starting to like actually have somewhat of an end in sight. I basically told myself like a year ago to stop like expanding to new areas. I'm trying to like finish all of this stuff, like all the different hallways and like corridors and new areas that I've never even shown yet that are like whole new parts of the factory. I'm trying to like get those done and all the rooms built. So that way, once that's finished, I can be like, okay, if the build is good enough now, I will release it, and that weight can finally be off of my shoulders. Or I can then continue to add on from that point. And there are some things that I do want to build, but I just don't know if I have the room right now in its current state. So I may have to expand things further. But I want to build the Spotty Powder Room, which is a deleted chapter from the actual book. And then there are some other rooms. They're kind of blanking right now on what they're called. But the Spotty Powder Room is kind of like a different version of the Fudge Mountain room. So that'll be cool. It'll be really big, which I like building the really big stuff. And then I really can't remember. There definitely are some other big rooms that I'm looking forward to building. That are like, there are some rooms in the factory that I haven't shown yet that are like 3 or 4 times bigger than the chocolate room. So it's pretty cool. So I'm just looking forward to finally being able to show people this stuff. And then once the map is finally released, I can just work on things at a nice slow pace and add stuff without having to like having an artificial timeline in my head about it. Okay, so kind of like what I wanted to do on the stream today was honestly like continue building this. So the portion of showing new stuff is mostly over, unless there are requests for areas people want to see, then I can go do that. But it's pretty much going to be a building stream from now on, so I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. It can be kind of boring, so I'm giving you a warning now if you don't want to watch that kind of stuff. But if there are areas of the build that anyone's interested in going to see, you can just put it in the chat and I can go over there, that's fine. Even though I have Axiom and some other cool stuff, I still use World Edit, which is very old, for a good number of things, just because it might not be technically faster, but it's easier for me to just do it with World Edit instead of Axiom. Like this. Oh, whoops. Alright. So for this area I had to like drop it down lower because up here is another room. So that's why it gets shorter in this area. So yeah, I can tell right now the stream is definitely, the quality is a little bit lower at the moment. So I apologize again. Yeah, I kind of find building relaxing as well. I don't watch many like Minecraft streams or like videos anymore just because I'm kind of busy, but I do like watching that kind of stuff. But having these mods is like a lifesaver. This is the main way that I'm able to like get stuff done relatively quickly. Um, even though I've been working on this for almost 3 years, I do have a lot built. Like I said, I'm basically at 60 rooms now, which is kind of crazy to think about. The rooms shown in the movie, there are only, well, let's see, there's the 4 main ones. And then 3. Technically, the movie only shows 8 rooms. So that means I've built about 52 additional rooms that weren't in the movie, so it's pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of it. But then when you consider that in the concept art there are 490, I'm still pretty far away from having every single one. But I'll probably never have all of those. That would just... I don't even think I would have ideas for half of them because some of them are just so bizarre. It stuttered, but the quality is fine. Okay, that's good to know. I think I am going to still, probably not for this weekend or anything, and maybe not even this week, it just depends. But I do want to make a YouTube video, a new update video. I guess that would be number 4, number 5, I don't remember what number it would be. Basically talking about everything that I showed at the beginning of this stream to this point in a little bit more detail and a little bit more concisely, so it's easier to follow and see. The YouTube videos, like the actual videos, always perform better than the live streams, which is to be expected because most people don't want to sit and scroll through like 2 hours worth of a live stream. Okay, so I do need to think of, I forget how many the spacing is here. So on the 41st. Apologies for that, there's a helicopter flying by. Yeah, I'm very obsessive about making sure spacing is consistent with all this kind of stuff, so I had to just kind of count these out real quick. Replicate that over here. But yeah, I guess talking about back to how much stuff I have built now, and how I'm pretty proud of what have been able to accomplish so far. I really am a proponent of people. Really for, I guess, anything, if we really want to be philosophical about it. But with Minecraft builds, it's so easy to get burnt out and then give up for a while. And then when you have motivation again, you want to come back and then you start over. But I think it's just cool if, you start one thing, and then even if you do get burnt out, you come back to the same thing and just continue working on that. And then it just grows and grows and grows, and then it's not so overwhelming to accomplish, which is what I've done with this build, because, even up until 2 weeks ago, I took a 4 or 5 month break where I didn't even open Minecraft. But now I have the motivation again, and I'm just kind of picking up where I left off, and I was able to get like 4 new rooms built. I love seeing what everyone else has been making and how, you know, other people make stuff, because it's not just, there's no one right way of doing it, you know. Just because I made the chocolate room a certain way doesn't mean that's the only way it has to be done. So I really like seeing what everyone has to make. And the, if you want to even call it this, I guess the Minecraft Willy Wonka scene, if I want to be pompous about it, has been pretty dead recently, which I'm partially responsible for as well, because I haven't touched it in like months until a few weeks ago. But recently it's been coming back a little bit. There are a few people in the Discord server of mine that have been posting updates on their build, and it's really cool to see. It's always nice seeing the updates. I can feel that if I don't make sure the length and stuff is right. Yeah, I get paranoid too that it's off. That's why I like double check. 20-second stutter. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, having the motivation to build something this big is, if I knew what I've built now, like, if I had to like tell myself, okay, you need to go out and you need to build a huge chocolate factory, and you need to have all the stuff that was in the movie, and then you have to build 50 additional areas that weren't even seen, I would pretty much just give up. But just taking it one thing at a time has really helped actually have the motivation to get it done. Yeah, at this point I'm pretty sure the live stream stutters have scared off most of the people who are watching, so technically YouTube says only one person is watching right now. So welcome and thank you for everyone who's still sticking by. And for anybody who is watching currently or who is watching the replay on YouTube, I've been having some internet problems, so every once in a while the stream will buffer, and there's not really anything I can do about it, so I apologize. Hey there, hello me, nice to see you. Yeah, sometimes it's delayed on the view count, so I never even know. Alright. So yeah, like this is another example. It's nice to just be able to copy and paste this instead of building it every time. Right now I'm working on a new room that I am calling, well, I chose this name from the list of concept art, but it's called Licorice Taxi Cabs. So basically I'm just making a production line of edible taxi cabs, full-size taxi cabs, in all the various stages with these robots building them, until they get wrapped up into a box to get shipped out, which I think is pretty cool. It's funny, it's one of the kind of funny rooms, so. Right now I'm just adding a bunch of these. so it looks like they're finished and getting sent off. Okay, I need to add these banners in because I forgot to copy them. Once this room is finished, I have a few smaller rooms to build, which will be nice, so hopefully that means they can go a little bit quicker. In general, something this size takes me like quite a few days to make because I usually only play Minecraft for like 2 hours at most at a time. So it takes me, I've been working on this is probably like the 4th total day I've been working on it here. So the next ones will be a little bit smaller, so that'll be nice. Alright, so before I extend that, basically just gonna build another wall, and it'll just go off into the into like a hole here. And I guess I could, I mean, maybe it would be cool if I made this like really long, because I have a bunch of space to work with, so I think I'm gonna do that actually. Let me think. Well, the easiest way to do it is like this. I'll just make it way longer than I even need it to be. And then here. And now that's all deleted. And then actually what I'm gonna do to make this easier on myself is I'm just gonna copy and paste a small portion of this, so I don't have to do everything in different steps. So now all of that I can just paste. It is kind of a little trippy at first until you get used to how it all works. But oh, I guess I should have. Alright, actually, before I paste that, I have to do this again. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. This is just so I know how far to put it. Okay, so that's 20. So I kind of still messed this up. I only did this like half right. So I still have to do a little bit of manual building. But should be okay. There. So that's the correct spacing. So I'm gonna have to like paste some of this in here. But I think that's okay. I think this looks pretty good lengthwise. I don't feel like messing with a bunch of copy and paste to get this to fit in right, so I'm just gonna do this manually here. Whoops, that's not what I meant. Deep slate tiles. Wish you had Minecraft again. Yeah. Well, I hope you're able to get it somehow. It's a fun game. It's probably if I had to pick a game, it's probably my favorite game of all time. There's a few others up there, but yeah, I kind of don't even have an interest in playing Minecraft, anything else other than building this chocolate factory. I know that probably sounds kind of weird, but this is like the only thing that I want to work on whenever I play Minecraft. It's like, I know like a really popular thing right now in the Minecraft scene is like the quote-unquote forever worlds, where you're supposed to just, start a map and just work on that forever and just make it huge. That's kind of what I consider my factory here, even though it's a very specific theme. I kind of just continuously work on it, and I have been for 3 years, and it just gets bigger and grows, and I think that's really cool. So this is my forever world, if you want to call it that. Oh, that noise is just so annoying. No, I have not built. I'm not building any other maps currently. This isn't the first time I've tried building this factory. If you want to consider every attempt I've made, this is probably close to like, I don't know, the 10th or 15th. Going back to when I was a kid, the original ones I tried making, it wasn't really a factory. It was just like the chocolate rooms. I tried making those, and I kind of just made that its own build. The only one that I ever came close to completing was the version I made before this, probably like six years ago at this point. I got up to the nut room, and then I gave up. So this is the only one that I've ever like finished all the stuff in the movie. So like I got all the way to the TV room, and the up and out, and all that. So this is the only one that's been like the real deal. All the other ones were abandoned at various stages of completion. Which is why I try to not do that, and I also encourage other people to try to not do that. It's just way more satisfying if you stick with it and actually see it all the way through. Yeah, I appreciate it. For calling it amazing that I've stuck with it for this long. It's definitely been fun, although it definitely has taken a lot of time. Wait a sec. Why are these not all the same? Oh, that's right. Okay, that's not a big deal. I just have to move these back. But I do still have a lot of fun building this. And then obviously, like I talked about, like motivation comes and goes. before the last 2 weeks, I took like 4 or 5 months off from working on this, just because I was doing other things. So. There we go. I do need to add these in because I forgot to copy them. Make sure they all have them. All right. Can't do a single project without giving up after 10 parts placed. You don't even know why. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame anybody for that, you know. Sometimes it's just how it is. I guess the best way I can relate to that is like maybe 2 months ago when I was in my like phase of not having any motivation for this. I was like, I should really hop on and try to get some stuff done because I had nothing else to do. And I hopped on for like 10 minutes. And I like literally placed like 3 blocks, and I was like, nope, I just don't feel like doing this. So I stopped. Alright, so I'm actually gonna make this right here the end. Well, that's just kind of part of the fun of it being, 1, a children's book, and 2, just very imaginative. It's supposed to be like a out of this world kind of factory, so that's why I think it's cool that all this seemingly random stuff is in here. And to be fair, I mean, he also does make actual chocolate and actual candy. It's just, but I already forget what this looks like. It's not just the only thing he does, so. Technically, like, what I'm making right here is supposed to be a candy, but it's just kind of ridiculous candy. Okay, so I think I need to build this door first before I put the wall in. That would probably be smart. So how tall is this? I want to make these, well, yeah, I guess I want these to match. So, 17, and then they're on the outside of that yellow line. Oh wait, actually I'm not going to be able to make that 17 because I forgot it's shorter down here. Okay. Well, I'll just make it as tall as it looks okay, I guess. Because I don't want it to go all the way up. How many is that? Oh, actually, I'm going to need to make this wider because these boxes are so wide. I really don't want this to look too different, though. Okay, I had that wrong, actually. Okay, yeah, this is fine. I'm kind of just talking to myself. I don't really know what else to talk about, so apologies. Go a little bit shorter. I can make a tutorial for this. Alright, see ya. Thanks for hanging out for a bit. I've thought about maybe making a tutorial for this, but that would take so much time. It would basically be spending I spent like 700 hours on this map so far. And for me to make a tutorial would be like another 700 hours of my life. And I don't really want to do that. I'd rather, if I was going to spend another 700 hours, I'd rather just spend it working on this. So unfortunately, a tutorial is probably never going to happen. should actually be one more. Like that. Yeah, there we go. Thought of this the other day. In the factory tour, we see he makes all these cool candies and things. The only stuff we see on the shelves are chocolate bars. Yeah, I think that's just kind of probably mainly due to they couldn't make the movie too long by showing a bunch of other stuff. And then I've only read the book a few times, but if I remember correctly, they don't really show a lot of that in the book either. Like all the weird candy, they kind of like just show the chocolate. So. But I would say the reason for the 2005 movie they didn't is because they didn't have the time. They could only make the movie so long. At least, I mean, that's what I would guess, but I could be wrong. You'll do it on your own by watching my live streams. I mean, hey, if that's able to help, then that's awesome. Some of my really old YouTube videos that at this point show off the build when it was much younger and not as good. I talked about stuff in more detail about specific areas, so I mean maybe you could watch some of those videos, and a lot of stuff has changed in my version since I made those videos, but it probably would maybe be helpful still. But if you just want to like watch the videos or the live streams to see how stuff looks now, I would recommend starting with my update videos at around update number 2, I think. I could be wrong on the number, but whatever update it was where I showed off the remade chocolate room. Because the current chocolate room looks a lot better than the old one, that I wouldn't try to base the chocolate room off of the old design. So, but everything else, the exterior has changed a lot as well. But the other rooms in the factory really aren't all that different from how they were, like 2 years ago. Oh wait, I forgot. So this is kind of my like easy way of ending this room, because I don't want to like continue this on forever. I just put a little tunnel at the end. That's kind of, I've done that in a lot of different rooms in this build, if people haven't caught on to that by now. You know what, actually, well, I guess they have to. Alright, now I need to cut this off as well. Wish we could have seen more. I mean, I am willing to show you other stuff as long as it's not things I've decided that I'm keeping a secret. So if there are things that anyone wants to see, I can go show that. The chocolate river in the 71 movie looked disgusting. It looks like mud. Yeah, I agree. It does look pretty bad. The ironic part is they actually used cocoa powder and cream and water. So it actually is at least somewhat real chocolate, but it doesn't look right. And then also in a funny way, the 2005 movie, it looks so much better, but they didn't use any chocolate at all. It's kind of funny how movie making works, I guess. The real stuff wasn't what ended up looking the best. Okay, now what did I do down here for the supports? Alright, they went straight up. Alright, and then I kind of like how this gets cut off a little bit. I think that looks better. Okay. Now I need to extend this walkway. So even though I have all these like mods that make building go quicker, sometimes I do just want to do it the old-fashioned way by placing it by hand like I'm doing here. So even though I could do this much quicker, sometimes I like just doing it how you're technically supposed to. Alright, so after I finish this walkway off here, I probably am going to call it a stream just because I didn't really have anything else planned to do on this stream. I know it's been a while since I've streamed, so I apologize that it's going to be a shorter one, but hopefully I'm able to do these a little bit more frequently now that I have some motivation to work on this again, so. But I think this has been a rather productive stream with the internet problems and all. Showing off the new stuff as well as working on some things, so. Not too bad, I don't think. Lost count. Alright, now what I'm going to do, just copy these. Wow, that worked out perfectly. This is the last one. Alright, I think that looks pretty cool. I will need to come back and finish the lighting at some point, but I don't really feel like doing that today. But I am going to keep it kind of dark down there, so it just kind of fades off. But with that, like I said, I don't think I really have much else planned. Let me wait just a sec for my internet to recover before I close this off. Because I know it's probably going to buffer for a sec. Alright, well I think that's going to do it for today. I appreciate everybody watching the first stream in a while, and I hope I'm able to do some more of these in the future. So yeah, thanks again everyone for chatting. It's always a fun time, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.